All right. If you've ever tried to get lean only to find yourself regaining that weight back instantly, you're not broken. You've simply been taught the wrong approach. I tried to lose weight so many times, and maybe I would even successfully do a little bit of that. However, right after, I would gain all that weight back. So in this video, I'll show you exactly what mistakes you're making, how to fix them, and I'll teach you how to get lean once and for all without feeling restricted, tired, or obsessed with your food. Most people don't have a fat loss problem. They have a fat regain problem. That's because these fat loss diets and these fat loss challenges aren't built for sustainability. They're built for a quick, short, fast result. And you can't maintain that long term. And so when you fail at some point, you start to think you're the problem. You start to think you're indisciplined. You start to think that fitness isn't made for you. You start to think you're lazy and that getting in shape is hard, when really all you need is the correct structure. Now, you already know exactly how fat loss works. It's a calorie deficit. The reason you're failing is because you're going on too much of a calorie deficit and you can't maintain it over time. And you can't even go back to a normal kind of standpoint of eating, because once you do, you start to feel that joy, you start to do all these things, and you haven't created the habit that helps you fight off these cravings and help you fight off this lack of self-control. These crash diets are built for you to get an extremely quick result, but then you just burn out and everything comes back. Another thing that happens is you go on this crash diet. Sure, you can lose a bit of weight, but then anything you do that's outside of that diet, you start to gain weight again. Why? Your metabolism crashes. And not in the sense of, oh, my metabolism is slow, my metabolism crashes, this and that. That doesn't exist. What happens is you were once a heavier person and now you weigh much less. Therefore, you have less body, you have less mass to energize. So you have a lower energy expenditure. You don't require as many calories throughout the day as you did once before. Since you're also not eating as much, your digestion goes down and your thermal effect of food also goes down. And lastly, since you're not eating as much, you're also not as energized. You're not moving as much subconsciously. You're not fidgeting as much. You're not walking as much. You're not doing more chores and this and that, simply because you have less energy. So once you eat less, your BMR goes down, your TEF goes down, your NEAT goes down. So you see what happens is, what was once a calorie deficit for you at week 1 is no longer going to be a calorie deficit for you maybe at week 8. And you need to adjust to this. Now let me tell you the 3 strategies to actually stay lean forever. And you don't have to count any calories. I would say if you want to understand how much you're eating, sure, it's amazing to have a period in which you're counting your calories, in which you're tracking what you're putting in your body. But you don't have to obsessively count calories long term. You can simply learn and understand what it is you're eating, what it is you're putting in your body, and the impact it's having on your body. That's what I do. That's what I teach my clients. First thing is diet slowly. The quicker you lose it, the quicker you can regain it. It's better for you to start slowly and have a slow progression over time, but keep the habits, build the routine, actually create a foundation so that you don't just do this now and get quick results and then long term you're fucked because you've learned absolutely nothing. That's kind of like trying to sprint in a marathon. Sure, in the beginning you'll be ahead of everyone. You'll be amazing. You'll be, oh my God, Marco runs so fast. He was able to get through all of this so quickly. But then are you gonna win the marathon? No, because you've wasted all that energy right in the beginning and now you've burnt out. I genuinely don't think I've counted calories for more than maybe 5 days my whole life. I still eat out, I still have a social life, I still enjoy food because I understand I'm not following a diet. That's just the way my nutrition works now. Secondly, build automatic habits. You have to decrease the friction it takes for you to get in shape. Think about it. You're not going to be able to maintain a long-term result or a long-term routine or a long-term habit if every time you have to do it, it's a pain in the ass. For example, if you want to go to the gym, but the gym is 1 hour away across town, you have to go through traffic, you have to do all these things, you're building so much resistance to go to the gym. Instead, if the gym is on the way home from work, you have reduced so much friction because you don't have to think about leaving the house again. You don't have to think about going to the opposite side of the city, sitting through traffic, planning, wasting time driving. You're already gonna go through there, so you may as well stop by, hit your gym session, and come home. Now, this is a big thing. And even now that I've built the habit to go to the gym, I used to go to a gym that was around 30 minutes away from my house driving, And some days it would just be so much harder for me to go to the gym because I would have to go 30 minutes driving by myself, going to the gym, hitting the work session, and then 30 minutes back after the gym after I was tired. Now, the issue with that was that firstly, I was tired. And secondly, I was wasting basically 1 hour of my day just driving to go to the gym. And I'm a gym guy. I like to go to the gym, but I was just increasing unnecessary friction. The reason I went to that gym was because it was a very good gym. So unless there's an actual reward that is worth you going and driving 1 hour to the gym, don't do it. Reduce as much friction as possible. Now, also within building automatic habits, you can kind of habit stack or temptation bundle. What does this mean? You pair something you don't like with something you like. And this doesn't just have to be with the gym. It can be with cooking. It can be with self-improvement, reading a book, getting work done. Okay, how does this work? You can essentially do something you like only when you're doing something you dislike. Let's say you don't like to cook, right? But you really like to watch, I don't know, Spider-Man. While you're cooking, you allow yourself to watch Spider-Man. Or you really like this podcast, or you really like this song. You give yourself that reward to listen to that song and do what it is you want to do only when you're actually doing this thing you don't like, cooking, going to the gym, I don't know, reading that book. And you say, okay, after I've read this book, after I've read 10 pages, I can go and I can watch a 20-minute episode. That's just gonna make it so much easier. It's gonna help you build a system. It's gonna help you build a habit. It's gonna help you build a routine. Now, every time you wanna read, you're gonna or every time you wanna watch an episode of something you like, you're gonna associate that with reading. So now you've made the hard habits somewhat easy. And that's the third point I kind of want to talk about, is making the hard things easy and making the bad things hard. Let me explain. I love peanut butter. I fucking love it. However, I never have peanut butter at home. Why? Because I know that when I do, I'm most likely not going to control myself. I'm most likely going to overeat it. I'm most likely going to unnecessarily eat a whole tub of peanut butter simply because I have it at home. If I don't have it at home, I can't eat it. It's as simple as that. If you know you love these potato chips, if you know you love, I don't know, chocolates, don't buy it. Don't go to the supermarket hungry and buy these chocolate things knowing after you're gonna go home and you're gonna eat it and then you're gonna regret it and then you're gonna feel guilty. And then because you're feeling guilty, you're gonna wanna go and you're gonna wanna buy more to make yourself feel better, and then you feel guilty again. Or you feel guilty and so you go to the TV. And now you've sat on the TV and you've done nothing. You haven't gone to the gym. You haven't cooked. You haven't worked on yourself. You understand how one little thing can snowball into creating a very bad habit system. And that may be the most important part. Not the whole nutrition thing. You can figure that out. Not the whole training thing. You can also figure that out through trial and error. The important thing is building habits, building good and long-term sustainable habits. Now, when you remove friction, staying lean just becomes kind of effortless. There's no friction, there's no resistance, there's no nothing. So you can just kind of effortlessly stay lean, get lean, stay lean, everything. Now, the last point I kind of want to touch is the mindset shift you need to have. You need to understand you are now someone that goes to the gym. You are now someone that prioritizes their health. You are now someone that takes fitness seriously. It's no longer something you do. It's no longer something you have. It's no longer an external thing that if it doesn't go right, oh, it's okay. It was just something I did that I don't do anymore, right? No, you have to lose a piece of yourself if you don't stick to the gym. You have to say, I'm a gym person. And if I don't go to the gym, I'm not actually fulfilling who I am. I'm not sticking to my word. I'm losing a piece of myself. So make fitness a part of you. Now, let me give you an example, right? You have two people that are trying to quit smoking. You have someone that says, oh no, I'm not a smoker when offered a cigarette. And you have someone that says, oh no, I'm trying to quit when offered a cigarette. Subconsciously, they're telling themselves that they're still a smoker, but they're just trying to quit. While the other one is saying, no, I'm not going to smoke simply because I'm not a smoker. I don't smoke, right? He's doing an identity-based, an identity-aligned action, not an action that goes against his identity like a smoker that is trying to quit. Does that make sense? So next time you want to skip the gym, next time you want to eat sweets, you say, oh no, I don't like sweets. Or you say, oh no, I like to go to the gym. Or I don't skip the gym, right? It is an identity aligned, an identity based statement, an identity based action. And the last thing I really want you to understand is that to get lean once and to stay lean forever, you don't have to be perfect. You won't be perfect. There's no way you can be perfect, and that's okay, right? You just need to have a balance. You need to win more times than you lose. The perfect balance I give to my clients is at 80-20. That's the balance I use. That's the balance they use. That's the balance that has been working for me and so many other guys. So think about it. You can divide it into days. You can divide it into weeks. You can divide it into a general idea that 80% of the time you are sticking to who you are, to going to the gym, to eating properly, eating whole, clean foods. And 20% of the time, you're just kind of wandering a little bit off. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect, like I just said. All right, this is exactly kind of what I teach my clients in depth. I help them hands-on, kind of remove that trial and error aspect of going to the gym, of learning how to eat, of all these things. I don't just slap them with a meal plan or a gym program just because, right? And then they come running back to me. No, I want to teach you how to do it. I tell them all the time, I'm kind of like your driving instructor down. I want to help you learn how to drive so that once you're done with me in my program, you don't have to use me anymore to drive. You know how to drive yourself. So if you want help and some structure to get in shape, to get lean and stay lean, more in depth, more adapted and personalized to you, click the link in the description so I can just kind of learn more about you, your situation, and see how it is I'm actually going to be able to help you. See you in the next one. Ooh.